Welcome back to my channel, folks. One of the essential key things that sometimes you have to do on a homestead, especially one that you are starting or you have to do on a budget, is to do your own DIY repairs or maintenance on your equipment, such as the tractor back there, equipment, and for me, this truck. This truck is an essential tool. Not only this is my main transportation to get me back and forth to work, but also it is an essential piece of equipment tool that I use here on the homestead to haul stuff, to pull trailers, to go wherever I need to go to get to point A to point B on this homestead. And it is a very important tool because a lot of times you need that vehicle to get back and forth to town, to go to the farm and home store or go to the feed store or go to your gardening center, wherever you're going to get your materials. Your vehicle, especially a truck, is very important. So this truck, I did have some major maintenance and some repairs done. I could have done it myself, but for what I'm not equipped with, it was a lot easier to have it done. And yes, $1,563 for the cost to repair. Biggest part of it is labor. But when you don't have a lift, you don't have a transmission jack, you don't have those main tools, it is hard to do that kind of maintenance, especially when it comes to an oil leak on your rear main. So that kind of stuff I leave to the side. Now, I won't do my oil change on this truck because it's a lot just as cheap to have it done. But on the tractor you see back there, I will be doing that oil change because I do it once a year on it, and I also will grease it and stuff, and I'll make sure the implements are greased and well taken care of, because taking care and maintenance is a primary key, especially when you're on a budget, especially a tight budget. You're wanting to build a homestead and you wanting to build fence. For me, I am almost bare bones. I have property, I have buildings, but my main thing I have to have is a fence to run livestock. And I have to save money for getting fencing materials. Granted, I reuse a lot of it. I can reuse most of the fence post clips, the steel posts, and some of the barbed wire. I do have new barbed wire already here on property, but I got to have the goat, sheep, woven wire because my plan in the future to have haired sheep and some goats, because that is for the property size I have, 25 acres, it's perfect to have that. Something I can manage myself, something when I'm away that I can have someone watch. I don't have to worry about dairy or anything like that. But in order for me to have that in the future and get this fence built and maintain that goal that I want, I have to do most of the repairs myself. And today, in this video, I am going to be replacing the serpentine belt on this truck. It is overdue, and it's time to be replaced. Also, while I'm in here replacing this belt, I'm also going to be replacing the AC compressor belt, because on this truck, General Motors, they separated the compressor belt with the regular serpentine belt, because this engine that's in this truck was designed originally an LS engine from the past for racing, and a lot of times you did not need an AC compressor. So it was an add-on when they put these engines in these trucks. So that's going to get replaced. Also, why I'm also doing it, because the truck's got 216,000 miles. A lot of times it's time to replace pulleys on it as well. So I am replacing the idler pulley, and I'm going to be replacing the tensioner pulley, because you don't want to let that go, because if you do, you are going to put yourself in disaster. And if I don't do it, this would cost me a lot of money to have this engine replaced, or I have to replace the truck. And I don't want to replace it. I can't afford it right now. I want to build my homestead. I want to get my animals. I want to get this going. So by all means, this is very important to keep up on this maintenance, especially just something simple like changing a serpentine belt and some pulleys. It's very important. If you don't do it, you can lead into disaster. So I'm going to set you up somewhere, and I'm going to get started on changing this belts. And I'll show you before I continue on that. Here's the belt. I got what I got is I got this from Rock Auto. I got the Gates complete serpentine repair kit. Comes with the serpentine belt, the AC compressor belt, and the pulley. So here's the serpentine belt right here. Here's the AC compressor belt. And in this bag, here's the tensioner pulley, and here's just the idler pulley. So I got this at rockauto.com. I highly recommend going on there when you're doing your vehicle repair, especially if your vehicle is the primary vehicle for essential tool on the homestead, like my truck is here. I would go there. You can get good deals. Matter of fact, that I got at a really good price. So, and I'm going to get you set up and let's get started. I got it finished. I did run into some trouble with the AC compressor stretch belt. I got the one side stuck, so I had to cut the new belt off. I had to run not only town once, but twice, because the replacement belt that I got was too small. So I had to go to town, get another one, and I got it all stretched on. And now I've got the pulleys on, and I got the new serpentine belt on. It shouldn't have took me this long, but because I had to run to town twice, sometimes that can happen. I did notice when I took this idler pulley off, it's a little broke, so it was wore out, so it was a good sign to go ahead and replace that. This is still somewhat good, so I'm going to hold on to this just in case if the other one breaks. So the one thing, like today, if you noticing it is raining out here now, that's why it was a good day to come in and do these kind of repairs on the homestead, is to make sure your vehicles or your tractor or your equipment's up to par, because if not, you'll be in and out of money before you know it, into repairs. So it's always good to make sure your equipment, your implement, your vehicles, whatever you use on the homestead is fully updated on their maintenance. And if you're tight on funds like I am, and you are ready, if you are wanting to do DIY repairs like that yourself, hit that like button if you like this video. Subscribe to my channel, Carnivore Homesteader, so that you can know that there'll be upcoming other videos in the future. I'm planning within the next year that I'll be out here on the homestead starting to build fence, even though it's on a budget, a little at a time. I am looking forward to it. I have those goals. So, like always, let's be kind, be positive, have a good attitude, and let's encourage and support one another. You all have a great day, and God bless, and see you on the next one.